All right, welcome to the show, everyone. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Debbie Drum. Debbie is a best-selling author, blogger, and marketing expert, and she's also the creator of Book Review Targeter, a very powerful tool that helps authors get more reviews for their books. So Debbie, it's great to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so tell us about your background and how you got started as an author.
Well, actually, I think back in 2010, I Googled the words how to make money online. And then that just opened up this whole world of madness. And in 2011 is when I finally started to see my first dollars made online with publishing books. And I really loved publishing books because it just allowed me to sit quietly in my office or wherever I had the chance, because I was traveling a lot at the time for work. Traveled a lot, like 80% of the time. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get out of that line of work, because it was just too much already. And I was publishing at the time. I learned how to publish. I was publishing a book a week, and I was publishing to all different marketplaces like the Kindle, the iBookstore, CreateSpace, and the Nook. So I was publishing one piece of content in a ton of different marketplaces, and I started to gain a lot of traction just doing that over and over and over and over. So that's kind of how I got started.
Awesome. And I know you just showed me, right before we started interviewing, your new book in print
Yeah.
about how to use CreateSpace, and it's this big color print book. So obviously you've expanded from ebooks since you got started. And so how has the kind of business evolved for you over the years?
Well, I started off my career in sales, and when I first started learning how to publish, the inner salesperson in me just had to come out. So that's why I started to, or when I started to publish products. So now I have like over 50 products that I sell, and about mostly revolving around publishing, not just directly to the Kindle and book publishing, but publishing content. Now I'm doing like video marketing. It's huge for me now. I've really perfected, or trying to perfect, how I do videos and sell with videos, market with videos, because it's very effective, like we're doing right now, for people to actually see you as a marketer and see that you're a real person, see that you have flaws, see that you have successes, see that you've made errors along the way. And it's a very powerful way to get your idea across to people, and for them being able to see you is very powerful, especially with people hiding behind products. There are some people that promote products and they don't even tell you who they are, and that's really important. People need to see you as a person, and if they can see your face, it's even better. So that's kind of like what I've evolved my my marketing around these days. Is producing videos, but also, in all types of different realms, like social media, like YouTube, and but also written content, of course, because creating content that's how I make a full-time living. And people who create content, they know that if you can create content, if you can create high quality content, you can use your content to work for you over and over and over and over again, you're golden when it comes to how you can make money in this business.
Gotcha. So I know a lot of authors are struggling with, how do they actually make money from their writing? So when you're looking at, let's say, writing a book, how do you, what stages do you go through? What planning do you go through ahead of time to make sure that's actually going to be profitable for you, a profitable use of your time?
That's so important. That one 4-letter word that you just said, plan, is incredibly important, because what you want to do is you really want to set your intention before you actually write a word, and that's so important. So this book that I showed you here, my intention was to create this book, but also print it out and bring it to a live event and hand it out to people. And this book is filled with upsells. It's filled with an opt-in box to collect emails. And that's my intention for every single book that I create, every single piece of content I create, always leading people to what they could get, more they can get from me. I'm not the kind of author or publisher that goes for volume. If I don't write books to sell 1 million copies. That's not the kind of marketer or publisher I am. The kind of marketer and publisher I am is, even if I give a piece of content away for free or I sell a book for free, there's always a way that I'm going to be making money somewhere down the road. And you better believe it that it's more than 99 cents. Okay. So that's the kind of author that I am. I don't go for volume, making $1 million on Kindle. That's just not what I strive to do. I help people all the time to market their books like that. But I know that a lot of the times it's more of a dream that people have, and you need to have kind of a backup plan. And the backup plan is to have a marketing plan. And if you publish something, you're always leading someone to buy something from you later on, even if they're getting your stuff for free. So that's always the end goal for me.
That's awesome. So you actually have other sources of income beyond the books. And in fact, the books are actually driving those revenue sources for you, right?
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. I do have books that make a passive income, and they don't even have anything to do with internet marketing. And because I've published so many books, I was publishing a book a week. I have books on like jealousy. I have books on romance books. I've written 3 fiction books, but I'm not the best fiction author on the planet, but I do play around whenever I have some time with that pen name. So I do fun things too as well when it comes to publishing.
That's awesome. So can you kind of walk us through, an example then of, a book that you've published and then how you set up those other sources of income? Because I think a lot of authors can find this really, really valuable.
Right. So you always need some form or way that people can opt into your list. Okay, that's first and foremost, is growing a list. I know a lot of people hate the fact of hearing that, but it's so important. Every time you come out with a new material, you can just email a list right away. That's so powerful and so important. I always like to either link out to like an affiliate product that I usually test out everything that I recommend. So that's really important. I always have something to say with whatever I'm recommending, whether it's my own product or somebody else's product. So from a book, I might link to a video, and that video is kind of a bridge between the thing that I'm selling and the person. So they're always seeing a taste of me, a taste of what I think about what I'm selling, or my experience with what I'm selling, or what are the hardships that I came across? What are my successes? And that's what's always going to help you get to the next level, is inserting your personal experiences with whatever you're selling, because then people, and if you can do it on video, that's even better, because people will see you as a real person, and you're not just promoting a link just to make money, because people can see right through that, and you're not going to make money if you do it like that. So
Right.
That's pretty much mostly how it goes.
Right. So you're actually sharing stuff that you found are useful, in your own business or life that you think is really valuable and you want to share with people. So you just naturally share it, and then you just happen to get paid for it as an affiliate.
Yeah. Now, there's strategy behind the videos and what you say. There's tons of strategy behind that. The last thing you want to do is get on a video and start rambling. So that's important that, you kind of have structure, but that develops over time. I do things like I challenge myself. I do like 30-day video challenges just to get comfortable, like in video, just because that's what makes me money. So I wanted to practice that a little bit more. I used to do presentations like this, and every other word out of my mouth was, you know? And I was like, oh, you got to stop that. So recognizing that you have some flaws, but still doing it. That's the thing. When you put yourself out there, whatever you're doing, you're writing, you're doing a video, you are putting yourself out there, and it is scary. You probably know this too, Tom, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're opening your life up, and you get people who will write, oh, why aren't you wearing makeup in this video? You look horrible. Like, you gotta just try to cut that out, ignore it, because for every one person is going to say something nasty or cruel, there's going to be hundreds of people who are going to love you and adore you for what you're doing and what you're putting out there. So don't pay attention to the negatives.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I think that's one of the things that really shines through in all your successes, Debbie, is that you're just so willing to, be authentic and put yourself out there. And like you said, just do the work, like, doing those 30 videos, even though you're uncomfortable. And, I know when I started doing videos, they were horrible. Like, I look back at some of my earliest videos on YouTube, and it's just like I couldn't be more embarrassed.
Yes.
But,
oh God.
That's just how it is. Like, it's just, if you want to get good at something, you have to be willing to be bad at it at first when you start out, but you can't let being bad at it stop you and hold you back. It's the same thing with like writing a book. When I first started writing, I was terrible, and I think everyone is. Like, there's no such thing as a natural born writer. You have to learn as you go along. And so I think that's why you've been so successful, is because you've just constantly kept going and pushing through and made so much progress over the years. I mean, all the courses and books and products that you've created is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's what, and that when you have the passion for the topic that you're making money in, that also helps. Because if you don't have, I believe strongly in passion. People say, oh, just follow the money. But if you're not excited about waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to start your work for the day, then you're doing the wrong thing with your life. And I'm really excited and passionate about the topic of marketing, internet marketing, and that's why it's easy for me to just sit here all day and do the work and put in the time.
Absolutely. So why do you think you're so passionate about it? I mean, what gets you so excited about it?
Mostly the freedom, I think. Like, for instance, with self-publishing, I was talking, one of the things that, I share with people is my experience of publishing print books. Well, what's one of the differences between a print book and a digital book? Well, print books have back covers, right? But with traditional books, you go look at your library or go to a bookstore if you can find an open one, and you'll see that print back covers have testimonials, they have reviews, they have descriptions. But my back cover has an opt-in box. And you could just be creative. There's no rules that you have to follow when it comes to being a self-publisher. There's no rules you have to follow when it comes to marketing online. You could wake up and have an idea and execute that idea, and you'll stand out because it's unique and it's just different. That's what I love about it. We have the freedom to do whatever the heck you want. And when you work for yourself, you don't have to answer to anyone. And that's amazing. I could do something, I could make mistakes, and I could have successes, and it'll be because of me in the end. So I think that's one of the reasons why. The second reason is that I don't have to leave my home when I go to work, because I could work from anywhere now. I used to travel 80% of the time. I used to have to drive all the time. I used to have to stay at hotels all the time, and I hated it at the end. And I'm just happy that I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's such a great point, that you can totally be creative and just like totally express yourself, and you don't have to follow the rules. Like, putting that doing it the back cover completely differently than traditional publishers do. It's such a great example of ways that you can use your creativity as an author, as a marketer, and you don't have to follow the rules with the internet. Like, you can do anything you want on your website. I saw this website the other day that's been passed around to one of my mastermind groups as like a great example of something creative, because it was just a web page that asked you to opt in, to put your email in to opt in, but it didn't tell you what you would get. It just said just give me your email now, and then there's just all this copy about why you should give them your email, but like no reason. Like there was no like, it was just give me your email because I want it, and it didn't tell you what you're gonna get. And then there was like a pop-ups, and there was like slider email opt-in forms, and there was like every possible way he could ask you to opt in. And it was just this really creative example of like something ridiculous that someone did, but that got a lot of attention, right? And it was really creative and was funny. It was fun to read. It was engaging. And I think that's kind of what you're hitting on here, Debbie, is that when you're being yourself and you're just being authentic and you use your creativity, like you're just going to attract people to you, like you said, that just like you for who you are, just for being yourself.
Yeah, that's what's amazing about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool thing, like, you know, that you can just totally be yourself, and that people can just be like, oh, wow, I really like this Debbie. You know, she just says it like it is. She's just who she is, and you don't have to fake it. I think a lot of people out there think that you have to like pretend to be someone that you're not. Yeah. And that's definitely not the way to do it.
Yeah, and I see me, like we're just dressed normally. Like we don't have to dress. I mean, I like to put myself together, especially when I'm getting on video, but sometimes I'm in pajama bottoms.
Yeah, so I'm wearing like sports short, like swim trunks right now. And yeah, I used to do like, you know, I used to have like dress shirts that I would do during interviews like this, and now I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna wear a t-shirt. So
yeah, I mean, that's the nature of what we do, so that's amazing.
Yeah, to be comfortable in your own skin is a really huge gift.
Exactly. And people see right through you. They can see, like you said, if you're authentic, and they can see if you're not authentic as well. So you just got to show the human side of you mostly, and try not to, don't go too far, because I also see people make this mistake too, and I really don't like it, especially females, is they say negative things about themselves too much. Okay, so you want to be humble, but only to a certain extent. Okay, so you want to be real to people, but don't be like saying negative things about yourself. And just women tend to do that more than men do. Just, you know, battle of the sexes type of thing.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, interesting. So I know you've got a ton of value to share around, you know, how authors can get book reviews, because you've done a lot of work in that arena. And so I want to, you know, shift gears and focus on that now. So, you know, tell us about, you know, first of all, how you found this really cool way to get more book reviews.
Okay. Well, it's kind of a funny story, because remember I told you I have 3 fiction books underneath a pen name, and it's in a specific niche. And at the time, this was around 2012. I remember it well, just because I was working upstairs because Hurricane Sandy just swooshed into my town, and we had to redo the whole first floor, so I had to move everything upstairs. And I remember working on that. And basically I was writing in a niche that I was a little bit shy to go on Facebook and be like, hey guys, I'm this author. Can you go and review my book? Blah, blah, blah. I need some reviews. I wasn't about to do that because, and also because I was shy. And number 2 is I had a bit of a following at that time, and I didn't want people to know that that was my pen name. So I wanted to, you know, keep it under wraps. I didn't want to tell anyone. So I was like, wait, there has to be another way for me to find people to review my book. And this was a real struggle that I had, because I didn't want to go on Facebook, and I didn't have any contacts in that niche. So what I started to do was I started to go to like books on Amazon, and it's a huge niche. So I totally found a lot of other books that were like my book. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go to this hyperlink that shows, that has all the lists of people reviewing those books. And then I started to dig a little bit deeper, and I started to click on all these profiles, and it took like 3 or 4 clicks just to see if those specific reviewers had contact information. So I'm like, wow, this book has 1,000 reviews. Couldn't I just go and contact those people so that they can review my book? They'll love it because they love this book. And unfortunately, it wasn't the case, because a lot of those people, when I clicked into their profiles, they didn't have contact information, but I noticed that some of them did have contact information. So I'm like, wow, how can I quickly find the ones, weed out the ones that had contact information, because those are the people that I want to review my book. Those are they have their email on their Amazon account. They've already reviewed books. They know how to review books. Those are my prime people. So, you know, doing this, going through, you know, just a couple of profiles manually, I was like, oh my God, I can't sift through pages and pages of this all day. I need to make money. I need to do other work. I can't do this all day, and I can't hire somebody to do this full time. It just wouldn't be worth it. So I knew that there were other software programs that went through Amazon, and they have an API connection. You know this well too, where you can get their data and do all sorts of things with their data. And that's how it came about. I just hooked up with somebody who knew how to program, and what the software does in the end is it scours through all the lists of reviewers. It finds the people with contact information and knocks out all the other people that don't have contact information. So now you have a whole ton of people who are highly, highly targeted to review your books to contact.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So it basically does all that grunt work for you, right? Like, I mean, if, like you said, if you had to do it yourself, it would take you days and days of work just to get, you know, a few hundred or a few thousand emails. But with the software, you can do it in a couple minutes.
Exactly. And it's phenomenal, because there's so many people that are using it that are really having success with contacting these reviewers. And what I do want to point out is that it's completely above board with Amazon, because those emails are out there for you to find. The software is just doing it quicker than one would do if you were doing it manually. And what's so easy about this exact process, and what I show you inside, it's no secret, is that it's just a friendly conversation. You're not asking anybody to buy anything. You're not asking them to opt in anywhere. You're not asking them for anything except to help you out. And that's how the conversation should really go. And because you're just reaching out to a real person who would probably, on a scale of 1 to 10, they're probably an 8 or 9 or 10 most likely to review your book, because they've already reviewed a book in that genre. Okay, so in the end, they're probably getting a free book, and then they're doing you a favor because of the way that you structured your email. Like, hey, I saw that you reviewed this book. I have a similar book, and I'm just looking for some real feedback. That's very important, that you ask people for real, honest feedback, and you don't ask them for a 5-star review, because that's against Amazon terms. You don't want to do that. You want real feedback. And you should want that as an author anyway, right? Because it'll just make you better. And that's the kind of messaging that you're sending to these people. It's not world-class copywriting that those messages. It's more being real, and kind of what we've been talking about this whole time. And that's why this method is so effective.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. And I think the other great thing that I've noticed, using your software and following your system and sending emails to these reviewers who've reviewed books similar to mine, is that a lot of times, like, they're so grateful. Like, they're so like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I've been looking for a book just like this. Or it's like you're helping these people. I've had people, who I've asked to review the Kindle Publishing Bible, and several of them have said, oh my God, like, I've been an editor for like 10 years, and I always had these manuscripts on my computer, but I never knew what to do with them. And now I publish them, and I'm an author, and I'm so excited. And you can change people's lives with your work. And like you said, these people are like an 8, 9, or 10 on that scale of likely to love your book and to really want to read it and to gain value from it. And, if like you said, if it's just for free, like you're just giving them a copy of your book for free, but you're getting your book out there and into the hands of people who really care about what you're writing about and what you do. And that's such a great gift to the world. Even if you don't sell anything from it, it's just such a great gift.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you said with your strategy. There are after benefits of this process too, because what you're really sneakily doing is if that's a word. What you're really doing is you are reaching out to people who are most likely to buy your other stuff. So while you are asking for reviews, you could potentially be making even more money above and beyond that by introducing yourself as an author. You can, if let's say some people I know, they sell other products and services inside their book. So now you're getting targeted people reading your book, finding out more about you, and potentially making even more money down the road just by following this process that is completely innocent to get book reviews. So people are establishing amazing new relationships that they never would have had if it weren't for Book Review Targeter, which is really, really great and special.
Absolutely, totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I've said for a long time, I learned this long ago, that long-term success in business is about long-term relationships. And I love what you said. Like, this is just a great way to build relationships with people in your market who are really passionate about what you do, and it's totally free, right? Like, once you have the emails and you just send out the emails, it doesn't cost you anything to do that, and it's just so valuable. Yeah,
it sure is. And I learned actually, I had like an aha moment the beginning of this year, where as marketers, and sometimes authors, we like the idea of one to many. We like sending one email to thousands and thousands of people. But sometimes what's really, really effective in the world that we live in is the one-to-one communication that we have with people. And think about it. If you meet somebody new once a day, every day for a whole entire year, that's 365 new people that you're establishing relationships with. And that could be more effective than one email blast to thousands and thousands of people. I learned that from following Lewis Howes's work. That's how he started out. He basically started out on LinkedIn, just reaching out to people one by one and growing relationships that way. And now he has a multi-million-dollar company. So it doesn't help that he's really good looking, but that's besides the fact.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's such a great point, that just reaching out one-on-one today can be such a powerful tool to build those relationships. And I think a lot of people forget to do that. I think that it's just about sending to the email list. It's not about that one-on-one, but that one-on-one can be very, very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't forget about that, and just reaching out to these authors that write you back. Spend time with, or the people that write you back from your email. Spend time to talk to them and have a little conversation with them, connect with them on social media. That will do you a world of wonder in this business.
Absolutely. So I want to share with people where they can get the software if they're interested. So you guys can just go to tckpublishing.com/book reviews. That's tckpublishing.com/book reviews. And that will take you to the webpage where you can learn more about Debbie's software that can help you get more reviews.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for this interview. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for sharing so much wisdom and knowledge with us today, Debbie. I really appreciate it. And where else can people go to find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Well, I have a website that's debbiedrum.com. You can also find my new video series called Debbie Does on YouTube, also on my website, and I take you kind of behind the scenes of different topics on how I make money online and how I market my business and products. So you can check that out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Debbie. I really appreciate you being here.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.